Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Division 1 Finals here at Ludi. And it's brought to you by Ludi tonight with SplatoonTourney. I am DRF, joined by the one and only Rice, and it has been quite the journey to get here. Over 60 matches played in Division 1, and now we are down to our final two, Rice.
Yes, exactly. We have today, well, you saw earlier today our semifinals for Division 1. It was Facade versus 3760 Boys and Not Win versus Hades. Facade winning 5-0 against Sexy Boys and Not Win winning 5-1 over Hades. Just for a little bit of context on the run, at least I was following Facade a lot just because I know a couple players on that team. In groups, they went 5-0, going perfect in their group, never dropping a game. In playoffs, they beat Project Rat 5-2, so dropping 2 games. And just now, they beat 3760 Boys 5-0. So in total, through the whole season, they've gone, how many sets is that? They've gone 35-2 in record.
Yeah. Like, you can't get much better than that. The only 2 games being in that quarter-final matchup so far against Project Rat. So Facade is having the season of a lifetime right now, and they really have hit their, I was gonna say they kind of hit their stride, you know, coming into this, but it's really, they've been hitting their stride all season long. And with the latest results that we've seen out of Facade in like Super Jump coming in that top 6, it's crazy to see that, to just think now how Facade even is in Div 1, because they have had just a crazy run and really convincing games so far. So Facade is coming into this as heavy favorites for sure, but Not Win, they got an opportunity to play them back in week 2, Rice, and they did come up short 0-5 like you had mentioned. They were in that same group, but week 2 was quite some time ago, and Not Win did look almost as convincing as Facade did in that semifinals matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Not Win, like, again, that set happened weeks ago. Yes, Facade won 5-0, but Facade at the same time has been improving. Not Win has also been improving at the same time. So you never know what we'll be really expecting out of this set.
Well, this set is ready to take off. Let's load on in. It's going to be game 1, Splat Zones on Umami Ruins. Taking a look at the comps, not too many surprises here as these folks have been bringing out these types of weapons through their semifinal sets so far. But most notably, Happy, probably the most unpredictable player here, who will just bring out anything that they feel is ready to go. And this is the Carbon Deco is going to be their choice here in game number 1.
Yeah, Carbon Deco is really scary on this map, especially just because with all the ledges, it can kind of poke around, especially with anyone on top mid. We see here, the Slasher on top mid gets taken down by the Carbon Roller from Happy, and that's going to be the first cap for Facade here. But just Roller being really strong on this map, we see it on the other side for Not Win as well.
Yeah, Not Win trying to find a path back into these zones. They do find a slight numbers advantage, but J-Rod on that shot, that's going to be a massive piece of consistency for Facade here, but they're not going to be able to hold on to these zones for much longer. They actually somehow do, despite the numbers disadvantage, but this should finally be a zone flip. But Facade, even with only 2 members up, it feels like you're still fighting all 4 of them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's part of having Tacticooler, right? Both these teams having that pencil, having the cooler output, it's gonna be feeling like you're playing like a 5v4 if you don't have cooler, or when you do have cooler, you're like, hey, let me just jump back in. I'm back fast, especially with that special saver you get from the Tacticooler.
Great trade there over on that left zone. J-Rod coming up with a nice big pick there. And this will be a contested zone once again. Numbers even between the 2 squads at this phase. A minute and a half into game number 1. Facade set the pace early and is continuing to do so now as they control these zones, slowly whittling away at this penalty. And with 3 down there, Rice, this could be a massive scoring explosion, make it a wipeout.
Yeah, definitely. We can see here on the side of Facade, once they got that wipeout, they were moving extremely fast. We see Captain Happy try to get to that snipe slash dome area, but it gets taken down early, and we see Zuka coming out. DRF, what are we seeing now?
That was a bit of a chain there. The pencil had gotten a pick on the gal, but in the meantime, Zuka shot just arched beautifully right over to that pencil. So a bit of a chain reaction there almost. But Facade on the cusp of claiming game number 1 via knockout. 5 points left. It looks like it's not going to be a neutral zone in time, barely missing the mark there. And it will be Facade with a convincing game number 1 to lead off this set.
Yeah, Facade just showing how dominant they were through this whole season just by that first game. They might have lost control maybe 1 or 2 times, but these even when they went down, they were still ready to push back in. And they with the lockouts they've had, it's really hard for Not I Win to really get a good hold once they get picked.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, watching these teams play, especially in these semifinal sets, I was kind of studying them a little bit and was trying to formulate, what are going to be the keys to victory for each of these squads here. And the thing that really stood out to me was that for Facade, their key to victory is just don't get your foot off the pedal. They have been accelerating this entire Ludi season, then especially in that semifinal set. Don't take your foot off the gas now. The minute you do that, you're leaving a window of opportunity for your opponents. But on the flip side, I'd Win, they need to figure out how to have a strong opening, because the games where Facade had seemed most vulnerable were the games where they didn't get that first control. So that's what I'd Win is going to have to do leading into game number 2, Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy, if they want to get a point on the board early and keep this set close.
For sure. And I think what really comes down to that key opening is maybe you were playing towards a specific special. Most of the times people are like, oh yeah, wait for tactical, right? But both sides have the tactical. So maybe then the play is like, maybe we play for Azuka if we have that. Maybe play for Tri-Strikes if we have that. Maybe get, interesting change up from the side of Na when they go for double trip strikes and foregoing that tactical.
I actually kind of like this. They're going to be playing very much around this objective. But of course, very early, Akame is going to be getting a nice double with a huge flank here. So it's trouble early on for I'd Win, as they are just trying to hold control of their plat 30 seconds into this game, and Facade doing a great job. They have somehow taken their foot that's on the gas and just floored it through the car at this stage.
Yeah, they accelerated at a... I don't even know how to explain it, but they went from, let's say, 0 to 100 real fast, as people say. But a good defense from I'd Win, stopping the tower at the second checkpoint. I don't even think it got any points off that checkpoint yet.
Yeah, so it is going to be the first checkpoint that does fall, which is a good spot to be in very early on. But Facade's already got to that second checkpoint. It seemed like they maybe could have gotten more there, but now they are starting to find themselves just a little bit staggered, and that's going to be the thing that they have to be careful with. So yes, you do want to continue to play at this blitzing fast pace that you have set early on, but you need to continue to be smart about it, because when you do play fast, there is the potential you start to stagger, and that's going to be another way that I'd Win might be able to capitalize. But so far, they've done an excellent job. Every time they do go 2 down, they are quick to get back in and find their key positions once again.
Yeah, for sure. And on the side of I'd Win, not having that tactic cooler also means they need to make sure they're knowing when to reset and try to regroup as a team, and when to like, okay, we might be a numbers disadvantage, but we can still keep pushing for this, or like a point or a checkpoint.
And with 2 down here, make that the 3. It's a stagger on the side of Facade. Na'D Win going to start moving up. They do have 2 specials at the ready following the trip strikes that were just unleashed. But that's going to be a 3 down. What a collapse in on Na'D Win by Facade. They protect the first checkpoint despite the massive stagger there. And we are approaching the halfway mark of this game. Facade with a 1 checkpoint lead here. And they're looking to add on to it, Rice.
Yeah, and we see just happy with that carbon roller, gets taken down there, but got 2 picks before they went down, and we just see the rest of Facade take so much space from what Happy got them on that bats area.
Oh, this is starting to spiral just a little bit. Jump outs coming from Na'D Win as Facade approaches that 3rd and final checkpoint, approaching the oh no zone where things just start to get out of control. But with 2 members down on the side of Facade, Na'D Win going to be able to protect that final checkpoint by the skin of their teeth there. And this is going to be a bit of relief for Na'D Win, who does have 2 specials at the ready once again. But with only 2 minutes on the clock and all of the checkpoints to go, it is going to be an uphill climb.
No, for sure. But I think, especially for tower control Inkblot, once you get past that 2nd checkpoint, it can snowball to where Facade got it to. We kind of saw like it snowballed for them as well. So it's never not a chance to get a win, but that's 3 down on the side of Na'D Win.
It's baffling how Facade is able to do this time and time again, where it seems like the numbers are just starting to stack against them, and then somebody just comes up with a big play to turn the numbers completely around, only allowing Na'D Win to really taste the fruits of this numbers advantage for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a really nice snipe from, I'm not too sure who the Charger player is, on the side of Nekru. There we go. But we see the Kraken coming out from May, gets the pick on the pencil, and this is going to be the 2nd checkpoint for Na'D Win.
And here's why they brought out these the double trip strikes. It's now allowing a bit of a curtain of ink here to get them through that tricky 2nd checkpoint, but now a numbers disadvantage on the side of Na'D Win. Happy making a move towards mid. It's going to be a bit of a trade back and forth. 2 members down on either side, 30 seconds to play, and this tower is starting to reel back, but Na'D Win is now within striking distance. They're going to have to build up some specials quickly, but we are going to see a couple of sharks come through as well. So it's going to come down to the wire here, folks, in game number 2 as Na'D Win tries to tie up this set. 10 seconds to go. Rice, bring us home on this one.
Yeah, we can see here May coming out with that Kraken onto bats, but that clears out all of bats for the side of Na'D Win. Akame tries to get the tower, but the Zuka getting Happy off the mushroom there, and they're going to get to this 3rd checkpoint, but they still have a lot of time to get through on the checkpoint.
Oh, and they're collapsing on the tower. It's a wipeout. Oh, right when they tied the game. And Facade hangs on in game number 2 to take a 2-0 lead. Oh, what a game.
What a game indeed. And just based off of that game, it feels like, I think, especially for Na'D Win, I think maybe going towards that no cooler composition, maybe let them play a little more aggressively. Sometimes when you play cooler comp, you're kind of like, okay, let me wait for cooler, then I'll push in, right? It's always a lot of that waiting around for that tactic cooler to necessarily start pushing in. But without waiting for that, you could kind of see Na'D Win start that push towards the end, I think in that 30 seconds mark, whenever they wanted, because they didn't need to wait for that tactic cooler.
Yeah, and those triple ink strikes did pay dividends there. It's just that it seemed like Facade might have just gotten, a little bit too much of a strong push in the early game. So it just was 1 point extra that they had to overcome that just didn't work out in their favor here. So it's unfortunate to see for Na'D Win, but that was just a massive stop in the nick of time by Facade.
For sure. And, I think the momentum might start building up for the side of Na'D Win. You can feel, usually when you're in that type of situation in VC with your team, you're like, we were so close to winning. let's try to bring that energy and that pace at the beginning of the game for the next game to try to get more momentum for themselves into more wins in the future.
Certainly, and it does seem like that there was some good learning opportunities there in game number 2. Na'D Win starting to figure out exactly where those windows of opportunity are coming and how they can take advantage to get their own solid pushes off. Now, again, like we said, Facade does a great job of, even when they're staggered, flipping the numbers very quickly back on their opponents. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to continue to watch out for. But those last minute and a half, I thought was really, really well played by Na'D Win.
Definitely, and I think we'll be in for more in the game number 3 at Rainmaker Robo Ramen. A little less scene played in the competitive scene, but it is in the map list. Everyone will be playing this now.
Well, let's go ahead and dive on into this one. A couple of adjustments. Necro's going to be switching back over to that 52 gal to go ahead and mirror Ahmed on the side of Facade. So some relatively, I guess, consistent picks here. A bit of mirror matching going on as well. But it's going to be Facade once again with the big opening. And that's going to clear checkpoint 1 in about 23 seconds. So now it is up to Na'D Win to figure out how to prevent the spiral, and Facade's just gonna dive for the points here. 34 remaining is a great spot to be in at this stage, plus the pop off the Zuka.
Yeah, the pop with the Zuka, but the Kraken is looking at the Rainmakers. They might grab it. Ooh, what a sequence. I think they thought the bubble could protect them, but, that's the wipeout for the side of Na'D Win. This is their chance to start pushing forward.
That was a smart play by the Kraken. It is unfortunate that they let go of 72 points in the opening minute. So again, that's what Facade continues to do oh so well in these sets. But Na'D Win with that cleanup there should give them some opportunity, especially as they now start to stagger Facade again, who is just continuing to play at that lightning fast pace.
Ooh, the Zuka barely picking off the Rainmaker before they can get the checkpoint here. And that's going to be numbers advantage for the side of Facade here. You're slowly pushing back towards mid. You can kind of see the roller fight here on the side here. Happy being able to come out of that fight with the win. And then get
2v2 situation there. Rainmaker will reset, but Na'D Win should be able to get this pop, as Happy's the only one that's playing the front line right now, but is able to find one, looking for the Rainmaker, not going to be able to find it, but will chase them down. They want it bad. Happy with a huge double.
Yeah, we see May here with the Kraken roll. Kraken roll gets the trade on to, I think that was J-Rod. Akame going for the Rainmaker pop. Just popping it, I think, to just get the space and then start moving towards that elbow of the side of Na'D Win.
Bit of a stalemate now between these two teams in mid. Happy gonna try to take the flank. Facade with no regard for strategy at this point. It's just keep playing aggressive, throw bodies at them, and just try to whittle down this clock as much as possible, because the more time that you waste here, that we still need to see Na'D Win clear that first checkpoint. So it's going to take a lot, and it seems like Facade is very content with this strategy at this point.
Yeah, and they can just throw their bodies at Rainmaker, at players with Tacticooler. They come back fast, come back with special. We see J-Rod here with the Zuka. I think gets 2 picks with the Zuka, and that's going to be a bit more space for Facade to get back in and throw their bodies at Na'D Win.
And here's J-Rod trying to do just that, but the roller in May able to find one pick, able to find a second. It is a 1v1, the gal versus the roller. They're going to be engaging over on that elbow, going to be backing off. It's going to be the jumps that actually come in to clean that up. May doing a great job of playing distraction there. That's going to give a slight advantage to Na'D Win on this next push. Numbers continue to be pretty consistent between these two squads. Second attempt at the checkpoint is not going to be any good either.
Yeah, and that pencil picking off the Rainmaker right before they're able to get that checkpoint. We see Facade again throwing their body at the Rainmaker, moving it as far as they can, and that's just more time for Na'D Win to try to get back to that first checkpoint.
honestly would like to maybe see them just go for that right checkpoint at this stage, because this elbow, like, look, everyone is so pushed up onto this elbow right now. If you could actually just clear that first checkpoint on the right side, I think they could have actually swung it back to the elbow, but they do clear it on the elbow this time. Third time is the charm indeed. So now they need to try to use some of these specials. They're going to follow the Kraken. They're going to ride this all the way down to 35 points remaining, but this push is not over, but they are facing a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, numbers disadvantage here, and ooh, the Rainmaker does get picked off there. I think there was a cheeky flank on the side there. Yeah, Mikey with that flank on the side, but they get taken down, I think, already. Oh, all the jumps coming in and out, and it's just a bit of a stagger on the side of Nah I'd Win.
And now Happy is going to take this one back, trying to force them to come to Happy. And with 10 seconds on the clock, the trip strike's coming out. A last-ditch effort from Nah I'd Win. But Happy is bobbing and weaving and is able to clear the enemy lines to secure game number 3 for Facade.
Yeah, they threw everything at Happy there. They threw the roller at Happy. I think a Zuka shot was after him. The Slosher was following him. They needed to take down Happy, but Happy just having, I think they had Cooler, but just being able, just flexing a bit of their movement there to squid roll past everything, go up walls, go down walls when they knew the Zuka shot was gonna go across.
That was wild. I mean, it's just, no matter what you do, you're just never safe. Like, it's like being in a horror movie right now, because no matter, every time you think you got rid of Facade, you clearly haven't. And it's just a pain to have to, figure out and to try to break through. We finally saw Nah I'd Win do so in the last couple minutes there, but still came up a few points shy in what was really their only push beyond the checkpoint.
Yeah, and they got really close to where Facade got to. But the team of Facade, you saw, threw 3 bodies at the Rainmaker right when they were going to get to the point where Facade did get the lead there.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's really hard to come up with a good strategy to stop something like that, because they quite literally are just sending folks in one at a time, and they are so good at winning these 1v1s, even 1v2s, 1v3s on the occasion as well, that it just feels like an impossible task. But I still go back to what I think the key thing is, and you need to get a very clean start against Facade, because that's where the bulk of their points come on these objective pushes, is that opening push where they get the objective going right away.
Yeah, for sure. Again, we talked about how explosive Facade has been, and it's really important, I think, for Nah I'd Win. At the beginning, we saw at all 3 games at the beginning, Facade gets 1 pick. Once they get that first pick, starts pushing forward together all as a team, and it just snowballs into either a wipeout, a delayed wipe, or someone having to jump out for them to reset, and then Facade gets control so early and a lot of points really fast.
Yeah, and with this next game being Clam Blitz, I am thinking that this will require a little bit of a slower start, but we do know that Facade, with whatever Happy chooses to play, is going to see how fast they can get from one end of the map to the other. And Nah I'd Win is going to have to match that. They need to match that pace, and they are going to need to, probably just spend a few extra resources trying to get those early picks on people like Happy in particular.
Yeah, definitely. And we are loading into the game. Clam Blitz on Museum. I wouldn't be surprised if on the side of Facade, they kind of... Ooh, the Range Blaster actually coming out for the side of Facade. But as I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they got 2 or 3 people dropping down from that right side. We already see someone probably going for that. No, actually, that was the pencil player just painting for their cooler there.
Well, it is going to start off with a bit of Facade actually taking control of mid. I'd win going to be hanging out on their plat for now, anticipating the early rush. They do take down the shot. A nice Zuka shot, I believe, is able to take out 2, and it's just Happy in the corner. They're going to find them, force them to jump out, it seems. Happy does hold on to some of that special gauge, and now it's an opportunity for I'd win to move in, but they do lose 1 there. But it is back and forth early on, neither team taking full control just yet.
Yeah, neither team having full controls. Ooh, the Zuka coming out from main. Nice pick. I believe that was Happy or J-Rod that got taken down. And this is Nahid Win's chance to open that basket there.
Yes, and this is exactly what we needed to see out of I'd win, with the first score of the game being in their favor, and they have a decent number of clams to work with to try to build up this early lead, but it's now just Mikey who's trying to keep this basket open, and they're able to get the pick, trying to find a couple more. They do find 1, able to dump the rest of their hand into the basket, and now this basket's all the way down to 47 remaining, but it also bought time for the rest of the team to come in. 2 more clams scored by May, and this is just a juggling effort out of I'd win, who is making an explosive score. And Facade, not having faced any contention like this in quite some time, trying to figure out what the answer is on the fly, but the points keep coming, Rice.
Yeah, and the score to 14 is really good on this map. They got another clam in from that box jump. The wipeout for the side of I'd win. Facade really needs to try to stabilize here. Paint up mid. We see the Zuka coming out from J-Rod. I'm not sure if it gets any picks here, but no, I'd win is completely flipped the script now. It's I'd win having that big lead explosive push at the beginning.
Yeah, I really do think that this map is favoring them right now as well, because it has prevented Facade from being as explosive as they had in those first 3 games, and I'd win has taken full advantage of it. And they are holding down their defensive fronts beautifully right now. The Zukas come in at the perfect time, and they are winning these fights. Every time a team fight is engaged, it seems like I'd win just barely scrapes by with a victory. And now Facade once again reeling back towards their basket. J-Rod trying to find a pick over on that ramp, prevent anybody from moving on up to their plat. And I'd win doesn't need to force anything at this stage as we pass the halfway mark. They are content just continuing to hold mid, but now they're gonna have to survive this onslaught of specials from Facade.
Yeah, and we're kind of back into that neutral state. I want to say completely neutral, but just a battle of just team stalemate, right? One team gets 1 pick, another team gets the counter pick off, and it's kind of just that fight in mid right now. No one really getting too big of an advantage. But we see here I'd win just holding mid, and that's kind of all they really have to do for the rest of the game.
Oh, and Facade once again trying to put up a defensive front here. Kiki trying to get up into a bit of a perch here, gonna drop down, realizing that nobody is within range now. So good sign for Facade as they have cleared out their plat and have forced I'd win to retreat back to their own plat. May trying to do something in mid here, just sharking that ramp position. They don't anticipate anybody trying to take that box because it looks like the offense right now has to run through Kiki, who's holding this power clamp, but it's going to be Mikey that gets behind and takes them out. And this is just all I'd win as they score again, and they have 11 clams to their name to try to put this one away.
The 2 power clam go in for the side of Facade. They need not Facade, for I'd win 2 more clams, and I'd win gets the clams in.
Oh, what a game and a turnaround for I'd win, putting an end to Facade's 8-game win streak against them here in Ludi. So finally, I'd win has the response to be able to claim a game of their own, and this could be a turning of the tides here. And honestly, this set, I think, is more open than ever before.
Yeah, and I think what you said at the beginning was really key to how I'd win got this big push. They knew Facade was going to go for that explosive, that very fast-paced push. So what they tried to do a little bit was play a little slower at the beginning, waiting for the side of Facade to really run into them. We saw that with just I think it was Mikey getting a double Zuka pick at the beginning, and that kind of snowballed for the side of Nah Win.
Yeah, it really did feel like it. And now with Facade losing their first game in probably 10 or so games, they're going to have to make some adjustments. I don't think they need to change much, but I do think they need to get back to the comps that they were running in game 2 and 3 that gave them a little bit more paint to work with, because it did seem like they suffered a little bit there from having the blaster, which hasn't really been there before. You know, they've been thriving off of having a fairly paint heavy comp.
I think what was also really tough was on the side of Not Win, they actually switched to the Carbon Roller, and Happy switched off the Carbon Roller. And
Yeah.
in terms of playing Range Blaster into Carbon Roller, it's a little awkward, right? The range can space out the Carbon, but if the Carbon has a really strong Shark, the Carbon just sharks out the Range Blaster, right? It's a really weird dynamic to kind of counterplay into. But, you know, a Carbon versus Carbon, you know what each other are gonna be doing.
Well, these teams are going to waste no time queuing up for game number 5. Facade up 3-1 as we head into Splat Zones on Mako March, seeing a couple of small adjustments here. But for the most part, Nah Win really liked what that last composition brought to the game, and they're going to be sticking with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out here, as Facade getting back to their old ways early on and coming up with a big triple early.
Yeah, big triple early. We do see Happy going back to that Carbon Roller. Very strong Carbon Roller map here. We see the trades going back and forth, and we see Akame trying to go for that long flank onto the side of Nah Win's plat.
Oh, and it's the gal with Akame there is doing a fantastic job just getting pick after pick. I'm not even sure if they've gone down so far this game. They find another that had to have been at least 4 straight picks there for Akame. And this is now, again, a Facade opening that we have been used to in the first 3 games. And they are quickly getting through that penalty and ready to add points to the board. And we are barely a minute into this game, Rice.
Now, we're barely a minute into the game, and we're seeing such a strong hold from the side of Facade. They have a very strong lockout here. That's J-Rod trying to flank around, gets taken down by that 2v1, but Akame is there as backup, trying to get a pick here. Gets one, gets an assist on another one, and that might be the zone cap for the side of Facade.
Yeah, they're gonna keep cold here, but numbers coming back in for Nah Win, trying to get something going here, but they're constantly being forced to scramble. May trying to find a pick here. They're gonna have to win this 1v1 if they can flip this zone. Not gonna be able to do so. And now it's Necru who has to paint the zone on their own. It is a wipeout and a KO for Facade, who answers back in the same exact fashion that Nah Win won that previous game. So hey, it's a little bit of tit for tat right now.
Yeah, crazy. We saw a complete 180 from what we saw in Museum Clan Blitz. We saw Facade play aggressively, they get 1 pick, snowballs into 2 picks, snowballs into 3. We can see Akame here with that long streak that they had towards the beginning of the game. Again, as you said, I think they got 4 or 5 picks from that streak there, not going down until later in this clip. But, you know, I think what was really key for Facade is they were playing really smart in terms of when they started backing off. They never really went in too far, never went in to overcommit for something, and they knew how to play that win condition that they had.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And now we see Facade at match point, division point, and they're going to try to get the job done on Tower Control Manta, which, this being a little bit more close quarters, could go either way, but I still really like Facade's chances on this one, because what Facade thrives in, especially with some of these maps, is movement options. And there are plenty of options for them to shark, pop up, jump over barriers, take shortcuts, and get into Nah Win's base in places where they just do not want them.
Yeah, and I think this might be I think this is a pretty decent carbon roller map if Happy decides to stick on their carbon roller. But just being able to really shark around, let's say like the bunkers, the street area, there's some really interesting spots that carbon roller can take advantage of the ledges and peek around to get picks. But also on the side of Nod, when I'd be interested to see how May takes advantage of those on their own roller.
Certainly, that's gonna be kind of key because yeah, the two rollers, which again is actually kind of crazy that we have the top two teams in Div 1 both running rollers, but I love it. And it really is, I think, going to come down to a bit of these roller battles as well. So Win is going to have to try to match that same energy, find some key sharking positions, and again, get off to that same explosive start. You can't let Facade start taking your bunker in the first 20-30 seconds. You're going to just have to quickly build up some specials and get to mid as fast as possible so you can start calling things out right away. But let's go ahead and dive on into this one, as Happy is not on the roller, but on the ballpoint.
I think that's a really interesting pick, but I think that's a really strong pick on this map too. The grades being really strong for any Splatling, but especially Ballpoint with the two ranges that it has, or the two firing modes that it has in its weapon.
Well, early on, it is a stalemate between these two squads as they are trying to find the picks needed to get this first push going. The Inkjet out for Facade, but not going to find any value. It's going to be just a rotation of players in these team fights, trying to keep their teammates alive. But Win is going to take the loss in this team battle, going 2 down. But Facade not able to capitalize just yet. They pushed the tower 1 point, and Win actually able to get their numbers back in quickly enough to flip that team battle in their favor. And now it's going to be Win with the first true push of this game. They should be able to get checkpoint 1, but there is a couple of players just sharking, waiting to make a move. But they will go ahead and concede checkpoint 1 for now, and they're going to make their stand over at checkpoint 2.
Yeah, we can see here they're not at that second checkpoint yet. Just a scrappy fight in the street area with Mikey on that 52 gal. Mikey just trying to poke around the corners. The Slosher, I think, getting 2 picks there. And this is going to be the snowball that Win needed.
Yes, this is exactly what won them game number 4 and what is going to get them a massive lead here in game number 6. They are already at the final checkpoint. Happy trying to make a move, utilize that range, but no, it is just a stagger, and Necru dancing around the tower and is able to ride it all the way to a KO, and Win once again with a clutch victory here to keep this set going.
I'm really impressed by just how well Win went from game number 5 to game number 6. A lot of go ahead, Gareth.
No, I was gonna say there's no such thing as momentum anymore.
I was gonna say there's the mental does not matter, I guess, right? A lot of teams, when they get into a game, when they have a game like game number 5 against Facade, they're like, what am I supposed to do, right? But they kind of just was like, that game happened, oh well, GG's go next. Let's focus on this TC Manta game and win this game.
Yeah, it's crazy what this set has sort of become. Commentators like us, we always like to talk about the momentum of these extended sets, but they have basically said, shut up about your momentum stuff. We will literally, we are gonna swing like a pendulum right now. There's no such thing as momentum. It's just knockout after knockout, and that's honestly, I think, the tone that they're setting for these last couple of games. It's who gets this first strong opening push, and really, you gotta go for the KO, because that's how these last 3 games have been decided. It's just quick KOs. So that opening push, more important than ever.
Exactly, definitely. And as you said, going for that KO, both these teams can make strings and strings of pushes and can get strong leads. But then what happens when that lead is just the KO, right? It's important for them to end the game before the other team can make that extra push.
Well, it is game number 7, Rice, and we are diving on into some Rainmaker on Hagglefish Market. And these two teams are taking off right away. A couple of small adjustments as Nodwin brings out that Carbon Deco once again, and the Vanilla Roller coming out of Facade. We do have those Mirror 52 gals once again as well, and one cooler on either side, and those Pencil and Zaps.
Yeah, we see the V-Roller actually coming out for the side of Happy this time. No more Carbon, wanting to play more towards that big bubbler, but May having that Zuka with Carbon. What we see here, Nodwin gets that first pickup, doesn't get too far, and this might be Fasade's chance to start pushing out for a big push.
Oh, and Mikey coming up with a sneaky play there, but actually got called out. I thought they were in a fantastic position there, but it's Facade that actually finds themselves going 2 down anyways. A Slosher and Shot over on that left-hand side going to be trading out, and another trade over in the Fight Club that's turned out on that left side of the map, minute into this one, and it is scrappy.
Very scrappy game we have here. No one getting that checkpoint early yet, and once you get that checkpoint on this map, you get a lot of points if you can make that jump from that, I guess, close checkpoint if we're by the left side of Portingpaw here.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is a tied game because this is going to come down to whoever is able to get the first clean 3 down situation, and Nodwin finds 2 there but was not able to pick up the third, as Happy gonna pop that bubble, use it to find the pick on the Slosher, but gonna go down as well. So again, trading back and forth between these two teams. We approach 2 minutes in, and neither team has scored more than 15 points, which is very almost uncharacteristic for a map mode like this, where at least somebody is flirting with that checkpoint, but nobody has even gotten there yet. Finally, it seems like Nodwin is gonna make a move, and with 2 down on the side of Facade, make that 3, and that is a wipeout, and this one's gonna blow right open for Nodwin.
Yeah, that clean wipeout for the side of Nodwin, and they get the Rainmaker all the way to 8 points. We saw there, once they made that jump, it was just a lot of points flowing down from their fort. But the reverse wipeout on the side of Nodwin for Facade to start pushing up now.
Oh, but Nodwin with the early statement there. But these games have been decided by KOs recently. So they definitely feeling like, man, we really should have gotten that KO. But 8 points remaining is a good spot to be in halfway through this game. They've been doing a great job in these team fights so far. They're just going to need to continue to hold on through the rest of this game.
Yeah, and we see here, it's back into that battle of mid right now. We saw the Rainmaker go down for Facade, unable to get that checkpoint, and they're going back to contesting top. Top going towards the side of Facade, and I think they're going to try to make a play off of that pop.
It seems like they might, but no, they're going to get the pop and not be able to make much of it here. So it is now Facade that's once again reeling back, trying to reestablish some positioning and hold control of mid. Nodwin not crossing that midway point right now, but they don't exactly need to either. But at the same time, you can't just sit passive through the rest of this game. As Facade will try to capitalize on that, and they are doing so right now. A bit of fancy footwork here for both of these teams, dodging bombs, dodging rollers. I don't know how Kogi's still alive.
The movement on with that Rainmaker we've been seeing in this set has been amazing. Just the amount of dodges that each player has done with the Rainmaker. But Facade, you're going backwards with Rainmaker. They need to start trying to push forward, but the side of Nodwin is pushing them back towards just the middle section of the map.
A great pick from the Slosher there on Nodwin. That's going to make things really difficult for Facade in these closing 35 seconds. They still have a checkpoint to clear. They're going to let this Rainmaker reset, focusing their efforts forward, trying to find a pick that will open things up and clear the way for this first checkpoint to be claimed. And now they're going to start their move, slowly moving forward. May sharking that checkpoint ready to explode. They're going to just play extra patient here. The rest of the team is able to just hold down the front, but it's going to be a bit of a surprise as now Facade switches over to that left-hand side, but this is going to be specials from Win. And oh, it's a wipeout, Rice!
Wipeout onto the side of Win, and still Facade needs to be patient here. They're unable to push too fast, and that's going to be game number 7 going to Win.
Oh, what an ending there between these two teams. Facade somehow, some way makes a massive play in the closing seconds to give themselves one more look. But the wipeout came at such a good time, and also such an unfortunate time, because if that wipeout came just a little bit later, they actually might have had just enough time to slip on through to get the lead, but they really needed that wipeout in the moment too. So they were just kind of in a bit of a tricky spot there, where they were gonna have to make a second big play and just were not able to convert, but they did get pretty darn close.
Yeah, and I think the tough thing about that wipeout is we see here 2 of the side of Facade goes down, and 1 needs to grab the Rainmaker. So it was only Akame really the person forging the path forward for, I think that's Kogi with the Rainmaker, and they just were not able to get the jumps back in fast enough.
No, they were not. And with that, we do head to game number 8, which will be Flamblitz Scorch Gorge. Now, we did see that Win won the first Flamblitz game, and that's where we kind of saw a shift in how this set was going. But I don't know. It really could go either way still, because again, we've proven that this set is determined by whoever can get the biggest push early on. But honestly, I kind of like the looks here for Win. This isn't too far off from how Flamblitz Museum could be played out. So if they can kind of just hit the gas early, they're gonna be in a good spot.
Yeah, definitely. But we do see here, actually no comp changes at all. I was gonna say there's a bit of comp changes. Happy does.
No, we have dueling carbons. Yeah, the dueling carbons is where these teams are going to put all their eggs in. So this will be fascinating to see how this one goes, and Facade is going to be the one that strikes first.
Yeah, again, as we said earlier, Facade always having such a strong early push. When they get it, they do get that first basket open, but they need to try to get these clams funneled in. Kogi having most of the clams here, scoring all of them in, and a second Zuka ready on the side of Facade, with Happy activating it right now.
Yeah, and this push is not quite over yet. Down to 44 remaining. Facade trying to give Win a little taste of their own medicine that they had delivered back in game number 4. 44 points is a solid spot. I believe that's just short of the type of push that we saw from Win over in Museum. So a pretty flipped match here, where Win now trying to find an answer. They are pushed up big time right now, so this should be a push, but can they deliver the same number of clams?
Currently, they don't have as many clams as Facade when they made the push, but we see May kind of backtracking for a couple more clams. We see Ultra here trying to get more clams. We see Happy camping these jumps, gets one of them, but Mikey trading it out for the rest of their team.
That was a great call there by Mikey. Only leaving a trade for Happy, and now this is Win that's able to hold a decent control of mid right now. It's pretty even though between these two teams, but with the numbers in favor of Win, they should have an opportunity to move up a little if they could just survive these Zuka shots, which they do, but it is just a distraction for Akame to come through and find 2. And now Facade trying to answer, but this is absolute chaos at this stage as people are just diving in left and right, Rice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if May was trying to go for a pick or maybe a sneaky clam jump from their team, but Kogi able to call them out right away and 2-tap them like it was a one-shot charger.
Oh, we are halfway through this game now. Facade holding on to a 21-point lead, trying to end this set and claim the division right here and right now. Nide hoping to extend this just a little bit more, but first they are gonna have to survive this 2-down situation. Akame moving in, the Zuka coming out, and Akame with that wall able to back off and save themselves, holding this position finally, but it's gonna be another bloodbath in mid. Multiple players going down on both sides, but Nide using this to their advantage, once again trying to claim mid, but not able to find anything still, and we are back to a stalemate.
He has such a stalemate back and forth. What happens a lot of the time is Nide gets the picks they need, but then Akame or Happy drops from some angle and gets another 2 down. So we're just constantly in that back and forth of 1 down situation, 2 down situation, or just even situations on both sides. And it just kind of feels like one spawn is the other team's spawn.
Yeah, they're just playing so in each other's faces right now, and Facade able to get a jump there as I believe Necru was the one that was trying to make a sneaky play. J-Rod gonna make a move and scores the extra power clam. 20 points remaining, and Facade can taste the division title now. They have expanded this lead with a minute to go, but Nide now has a pity clam to their name. They're going to have to come up with at least 2 power clams to try and close this gap, but they also need the numbers as well. And look at this, Akame making a move towards the basket. They want to put this one away right now, Rice.
Yeah, the score does not get through the penalty, but that's just stalls out the more of Nide but it is a bit of a dangerous gambit here. The reason for that is it gives the side of Nide the extra pity clam.
Yes, that is absolutely right, Rice. And the 2 clams is what Nide needs to get this final stand push going. It's going to be a massive effort from them, but they might not even get the chance. Facade 15 seconds away from a division title. They are closing in on it. They can taste it now, folks. They're passing around their power clam, seeing if they could get in for one last blow. Nide 2 power clams to their name. They need to come up with a couple of big picks now. Overtime kicking in. 20 seconds stands between these teams and a game 9 or a division title. The trip strike's coming in, but it's Kogi Paw with a huge pick. The first power clam coming in, but no, it's a 3 down, and it's just May. This one is over. Facade will win Division 1.
Ending there was so intense. You saw on the side of Nide they almost got the chance to get the basket open. But then we just saw Kogi holding down their ground, being able to pick off key players that were holding power clams.
Oh, it seemed like that Nide had a good look here, especially off of the May pick on the shot. But unfortunately, Facade, back to their old ways. You just never know where they are. And they did a great job of playing in and around all of the members of Nide to prevent that last push from even taking off. So a huge win for Facade, but I mean, Rice, what a set between these two squads. What was supposed to be Facade being heavy favorites coming in, Nide did an amazing job of making them work for it.
Yeah, Nide made Facade work for it. If you compared this set to probably the set they played in groups, you wouldn't expect the score to come out like this. You would expect Facade to win, but you expect it to be maybe a 5-0, 5-1. But no, Nide put up a fight during this set.
They did. And hey, in a way, for Nide you can sort of brag that Facade being the dominant division champs that they are, you were responsible for 60% of their losses. I mean, 3 out of 5, that's pretty good. You're right up there.
No, for sure. And it's crazy to see the season that Facade had. You know, they might have been a little unhappy with their division seeding, but guess what? they played it out and they showed the dominance of why maybe they should have been in Division X instead of Division 1.
And that's always a natural conversation that comes up. But hey, at the time, the Cedars said, Facade, we think that you're a comfortable Division 1 team. And Facade went out and proved that, you know, they are the best in the division and should be considered for Div X in the future. So really, really impressive stuff all around from Facade in one of the most dominant Division 1s in recent memory.
Definitely. That is the end of our broadcast for today. That is the end of Division 1, as that was the championship. But we do have more broadcasts later tonight, Ryan. If you could lead us into that preview, we have 2 division finals later tonight. One at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the Division 5 finals between Caution and Little Fresh Meat. And how about the next that we have, DRF?
Oh, Secret Elixir versus Morning Glory. That is going to be a fun set. Secret Elixir had been towards the top of division for all season, and Morning Glory kind of just worked their way up. So all these teams here, I know in some capacity or another, so I'm super excited to see them duel it out. And I'm going to be so happy for whoever ultimately comes out in each of these divisions.
Yeah, definitely. These division finals will be very exciting to watch, but that is the end of our broadcast for, at least for now. In an hour, we'll start our next broadcast for those finals. But DRF, where can the lovely people find you?
You can go ahead and find me at DRF_Splatoon and, on Twitter and on Twitch, TritonDRF. But per usual, you can go ahead and find me over at the CCA covering all things collegiate Splatoon. Rice, how about yourself?
Yeah, you can, wait, let me point at it correctly. Ah, there we go. We can point at it right here. I go by Rice. All my tags are usually We Like Rice. If you're in California or Northern California, come out to the NorCal land Buyave. We just announced it today. Registration, we're having a little bit of issues with that, but it will start soon. It will be in October the 19th, and we're excited to see you there.
Oh, that's gonna be so much fun, Rice. I can't promise anything, but having another California land is mighty tempting.
For sure. And also, let's throw it back to actually our producer and our streamer, Jerian. Thank you so much for having this whole stream. Why don't you give yourself a shout out? All right. Jerian's a little sick, but you can find Jerian at, I believe it's Jerian51 on Twitter. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. Jerian.
Yes, you're correct.
All right. So you can find Jerian on Twitter at Jerian51, and you'll see Jerian everywhere doing broadcasts for a lot of productions, does a lot of work for the Splatoon community. So we greatly appreciate you.
My man is the actual GOAT. Like, literally will broadcast almost any time if you give him enough notice. So thank you. And thank you to the SplatoonTourney team. So let's go ahead and wrap up Ludi in style with those last 2 matches coming up soon. So for Rice and myself, and for Ryan and the SplatoonTourney team, we will see you in a little bit for the conclusion of Ludi tonight.